The Florida Podcast Network, the voice of Florida. This is episode 18C of the Finding Florida podcast on the Florida Podcast Network. The festival of fun across Florida continues.
We hope you're ready for an adventure.
Welcome to Finding Florida, the podcast that takes you from country to the coast. Join your tour guides, an unlikely pair, city girl Jaime and country boy Glenn, as they explore the amazing sights and sounds of the Sunshine State.
This is the third part of our adventure full of festivals. If you missed episodes 18A and 18B, go back and take a listen to those first. In this episode, we wrap up our tour festivals galore with my visit to the Cajun Crawfish and Music Festival in Palm Beach Gardens. There were cooking demos, local celebrities, classic Bourbon Street drinks, amazing Cajun music bands, and lots of crawfish. You know, I was a happy girl, but it was super weird doing this part of the adventure without my partner in crime. Glenn, did you miss me?
No, you missed me, apparently.
Well, I kind of, but, you know, did you miss me? Like, you saw all the fun I was having on social media, and you were sitting all alone in a corner.
I missed you less because it was crawfish. So if you were going to the Macaroni and Cheese Festival, I would have really missed you.
Or the Poutine Festival.
Or the Chili Festival. I would have really missed you. But crawfish... I can honestly say that if there was one of us going to miss, it would be this one. But it's weird doing it without your partner, isn't it?
It is weird. So now I feel your pain from the flying.
Oh, it's just weird not having you. I'm used to you being right there.
But at least you had Wayne.
I did have my brother.
Nobody.
You knew people there, though, didn't you?
I knew a lot of people. Took a lot of pictures.
Speaking of pictures, don't forget that the pictures and videos of all of our escapades for the episode are found in our show notes at findingfloridapodcast.com and on all our social media. Let the adventure continue.
And this episode of The Adventure is dedicated to Ann Knight, my co-star last October in my friend Jason's movie, So Much Blood. It was a delight, absolute delight to work with her. And she just recently passed. And, you know, even though she was in her late 70s, she stole the show. Jason's sick of me giving away the scene that she was in with me, so I'm not going to mention it. But if you go to the show notes, you'll see the link to the movie that featured the lovely Miss Ann Knight. And the people who put on the Cajun Crawfish and Music Festival, they were actually all friends of hers who loved her and missed her very much. So this episode is dedicated to you, Ann, and let's get this show on the road.
Do y'all smell that funk? Yeah! Oh, you feel that funk? Yeah! Is it in your soul? Yeah! Well, y'all need to get up and give me that funk!
Hey everybody, it is Jaime here, and I have just arrived in Palm Beach Gardens, downtown at the Gardens, and I'm so excited because today is the Cajun Crawfish and Music Festival, and it benefits one of a local charity that I love very much called Little Smiles. And I'm really, really excited because I'm going to eat my weight through some crawfish. So if you remember back on my trip to Crystal River, it was amazing this moment I had at a restaurant there eating crawfish. It's been a long time. And I went to college in New Orleans, so I'm bringing back some New Orleans flavor. I do miss my partner in crime, Glenn, very, very much. But I am also very, very ready to dive into some crawfish and some beer and some music and some friends. Come along.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming out to the Cajun Crawfish and Music Festival. My name is Virginia from the KVJ Show at 97.9 WRMF. We are so proud to be your host here today. I'm from New Orleans. Anybody in the house from New Orleans? Woo! Okay. Who wants some free beats?
Ladies and
and gentlemen, help me welcome to the stage, Rockin' Jake. All right, puppies, way at me.
Well, you cannot have a music festival. You cannot have a New Orleans music festival without authentic New Orleans music. Oh my gosh, I'm sitting here with Rockin' Jake, the Rockin' Jake band. You rock the house, Jake. What was that I just experienced up there? That was fantastic.
Jaime, first of all, thank you for having me on your show. Secondly, to answer your question, I have no idea what happened. You might know better than I do, but it's all a blur to me.
Let me tell you, the blur was beautiful.
Awesome.
It was rocking. The beats were moving.
It was nice to see you out there boogieing.
I was shaking my little thing. And so before you got on stage, right, your band was behind you, and they were doing amazing work already. And then you came up and brought out a harmonica.
Yes.
And I died. That was so good. So I love New Orleans. Tell me about what it's like for you to bring a little bit of New Orleans on the road and hit places like Florida.
Well, I'm with you as far as loving New Orleans.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't boast of being a native, but I moved there in 1990, and I lived there until 2005 when Hurricane Katrina displaced me involuntarily.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, me and a few hundred other thousand people.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, knock on wood, I didn't have it as bad as some other people, And then we moved down here ostensibly to take care of my mom.
How do you feel like Floridians generally appreciate New Orleans music? Do we?
Well, I think that there's still quite a bit of appreciation, as you can see from the turnout here today.
Yeah, we got a pretty good crowd.
Great turnout. But, back in the day, they used to have Cajun Zydeco Festival down at Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, yeah.
And that was really good. And I think maybe that generation or whatever is maybe weeding up, but there's still definitely a strong New Orleans contingent down here. I mean, people who are from New Orleans who live down here now, or people who went to college there, or people who just love the culture and the music. It's a little harder to find down here.
You almost have to wonder if it's because of, Katrina wiping out the heart of the city, really. If maybe that had just so many more ripples than we've even realized.
Well,
and the entertainment
it maybe
spreading
just displaced a bunch of people down here, which is cool. I haven't met a whole lot. There's a restaurant down in Fort Lauderdale called Shuck and Dive that
I've heard of it.
Just straight up New Orleans food and Louisiana food. And they don't really have music, but once a year they have a Mardi Gras festival. We usually play that.
Well, so the last time I got a chance to be around Cajun flavors was we did a trip recently to Crystal River, which is on middle of Florida on the West Coast. And there's a guy out there named Cajun Jimmy, and he has an awesome restaurant, and he gave me a plate of crawfish that I could practically swim in. So let me ask you a little bit about food. Are you a Cajun crawfish lover?
Well, funny thing is my whole life I've never been a seafood fan.
My co-host, who's usually here, Glenn, would appreciate that.
I was born and raised by the water my whole life, and I lived by the ocean and by the water my whole life. And for whatever reason, I never got a taste for it. But anytime I go to a crawfish boil, I definitely will have some crawfish, no question about it. But I do focus more on the sausage and the corn and the potatoes.
Oh God, my mouth is absolutely watering.
Oh man, I want some right now.
So, what was the first instrument you picked up?
It was a harmonica. Well, actually, no. When I was a young kid, I played clarinet.
Oh, really?
And I didn't really care for it because I should have stuck with it because I didn't realize at that time that there was cool music you could play on clarinet. At the time, they're having me play Babes in Toyland and other silly songs, But I saw a guy play harmonica and I was knocked out. And I said, I gotta get. I think a lot of musicians are like this, that they love music so much they weren't satisfied with just being a music lover.
Yeah.
That they have to play it because they love the music so much. That's the way I am. I love it. It's only gotten worse as I've gotten older.
The music or your love for it?
All of it. Yeah. No, the music has gotten better. but my love for it has only gotten more intense, and deeper,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm really glad I picked up the harmonica, and to be able to play with great musicians like the guys who are in my band. It's a pleasure that I can't even describe or explain.
Yeah, Rich was killing it on the drums. I mean, everybody was.
So
they were just
we got
solid.
Steve Laudicina on the guitar, Charles Gasper on the bass,
They were
and Rich
amazing.
Conklin on the drums, and
So
they're just
good.
wonderful, wonderful musicians.
So, where can people find you and rock out with you, Rock and Jake?
Well, no matter we were primarily in Florida, but we do travel around the country periodically, and we're about to embark on a tour with
It's All Good tour, right? I think I saw on your
that?
shirt. It's All Good tour. I think is what I saw on the
it's always been an It's All Good tour
Oh.
since the song came out in '99.
Gotcha. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Rock and
Thank
Jake.
you.
It's been a
Thank you for
pleasure
having me.
meeting you, rocking out with you, and chatting with you. Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much.
spreading the New Orleans word and New Orleans
Absolutely.
music, and keep doing what
It's
you're
a
doing.
spirit, right? Once again, it's in you, it never gets out.
Never,
It never gets
never.
out. Let me tell you, I haven't been back there since I graduated college in
Is that right?
2001.
Come on.
And there's a little
haven't
tear
been
inside
back?
because of that.
Oh my God! Well, you just have to say it and do
I
it.
know, I do.
And
So
you'll pick up right where you left
if we ever
off.
take this show out on the road outside of the boundaries of Florida, that's my first stop.
Well,
so.
your recorder and your microphones go anywhere,
It's mobile, man. Well, meeting Rock and Jake, who is a Florida transplant like so many of us, was a lot of fun. He just killed it on stage. I mean, the whole band did, but when he came out and brought out his harmonica, I was like, woohoo! In fact, when I was talking to Rock and Jake afterwards and asking him, I was standing by the stage as they were breaking things down, I was asking him to do an interview. His drummer, who I think his name is Rich, he comes over and he's like, man, thank you so much for you were out there. We saw you. You were rocking. You were having a good time. I'm like, thank you so much for giving me something to rock out to.
It's funny that he said that because when we did stage shows, when I owned the acting company, as a performer, you would pick out one person in the audience to focus on. And they were the person that gave you energy.
Oh, yeah. I totally
And
get
then
it.
you tried to ignore the person who had her arms closed and they were looking at the ground being
Or
bored.
staring at their phone.
Yeah, exactly. Try to ignore those people and then find that one person in the audience who was into it.
Well, I
You
was
were
that
that
one person.
person.
Trust me. I was having a good time. But that was just, they were just one of 4 bands that performed that night. There was also Public Sounds Collective, who are amazing. DJ Flash, the Porch Dogs, such a good representation. But the music really wasn't the main attraction. I bet you can guess what was the main attraction, at least for me, Glenn.
Sea bugs.
Yes, that's right. Platefuls and platefuls of crawfish. Well, I had the privilege of catching up with my longtime buddy, Jay Cashmere. He's a local news celebrity and actually was the 3rd person I ever interviewed on a podcast ever. And he's from New Orleans, also a fellow transplant here in Florida. And he and Virginia Sinicki of the KVJ Show, they've been friends for years and partnered together for one of the cooking demos that they did that day. And so you're going to hear a little bit of that and just listen. I know you're not a crawfish fan, Glenn, but try not to let your mouth water when you hear them explain what makes good crawfish. And then we'll chat with Jay on the other side.
Over to my right, in case you guys haven't seen it, there's a cooking demo from Voodoo Bayou, and in just about 10 minutes, this handsome man right here to my right and his whole family are going to be over there helping cook up some crawfish. Everybody give it up for Jay Cashmere from Channel 5. Woo!
Thank you so much, Virginia. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it being out here. When all of us Cajuns come together, good things happen. We don't get a lot of crawfish boils in these parts, so when we have them, it's really popular. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. This is all for Little Smiles, so we love this charity. Virginia, we love you too.
We love Jay. Give it up for Jay Cashmere. Woo! Yeah, his cooking demo, I'm going to help him, is just starting in about 10 minutes over there, so go grab your seat. They're going fast.
Thank you all for being here today. We're going to spice things up. We've got some crawfish we're cooking. Crawfish is a unique recipe. It's rather simple, but there are a lot of ways you can spice up crawfish. But you have a unique way, though.
Yeah, really you want to get the balance of the two things that are most crucial right. The spice and the salt.
And that's what soaks in, and that's what really gives the flavor to the crawfish. 15 minutes and 15 minutes. It's actually pretty easy to do, but the spices are the most important key aspect of this. And as you said, a little cayenne can go a long way. Not too much, not too little, but that's the most important key, soaking it in, getting that salt, saturating it, because it makes it taste oh so good. But you can actually cook as much of these as you want.
Yeah, we normally do at least 100 pounds when we cook them. You just want to make sure that it's boiling when the crawfish go in.
So I couldn't be happier on every single possible level because I'm here with one of my favorite South Floridians, Jay Cashmere, and he's one of my favorites for a lot of reasons, but one of them is he was actually my third, I double-checked while you were cooking, third ever guest ever on a podcast.
And I remember that distinctly. You came to the station. We were in our break room, one of our conference rooms as well. It was awesome.
Thankfully, my equipment has seen an upgrade since then.
Hey, it's awesome. It's awesome.
But
and so is our atmosphere here, too. We're not in a stuffy
we're not in a conference room anymore.
We're here outside with voodoo and crawfish.
Celebrating New Orleans and the Florida sun. So,
absolutely.
First off, compliments to the chef. I know it was a combo effort there between you and Virginia of KVJ Show, but wow, I almost had forgotten that you were a New Orleans boy. So what's it like bringing New Orleans flavor to here and celebrating that heritage of yours?
The best part about this is celebrating with people like Virginia, because she's such an authentic Cajun. Every time we get together, we have so much fun. She's so good at what she does. Honestly, I was sort of taking notes from Virginia there. Virginia knows how to cook crawfish. She knows what she's doing. I sort of have the basic plot line down, but Virginia knows all the add-ons that you need to make it really good. I can make a mean jambalaya dish, a crawfish etouffee, and I can cook some jambalaya. After that, I'm going to rely on Virginia, to help me, guide me, because my mom is the best cook of all, and she's got all this. So anytime I need, I call my mom or I call Virginia. So I'm in good shape. But honestly, just being out here with you, with Virginia, and everybody, and celebrating, it's awesome.
Yeah, you know what I love about Florida? I love that festivals happen all year round, and I know that you're involved with a fair few. Like you've done the cheese stacking competition at the Festival of Little Italy. So how fun are festivals for you?
Well, the best part about it is you're getting out in the community with all the people in your South Florida, basically in your own communities. You're just having a good time, and whatever the festival is, you're all together, you're supporting one common cause, and whether you're building cheese, you're supporting charity there, whether you're little smiles, absolutely, or you're cooking crawfish, you're all together, you're having fun. And in South Florida, the weather's always good, so it's a reason to get outside, so you might as well get outside, have fun. Let's get out here and boil crawfish, let's get out here and build cheese, whatever you need to do. That's what makes it really special out here. Coming together is what the most important part about it is.
Absolutely, and this is all audio, but we take great pictures, and I want to encourage everybody to go to the website and check out Jay's outfit because it is phenomenal. That's all I have to say.
We went to lunch, so I have to say we went to lunch and I didn't have a chance to change. So I did put my son in the same shorts. Yeah, so my son and I have the same shorts on. So that was a sort of a layover from lunch. But hey, it works,
Honestly, I kept looking over to the cooking demo station to see are they getting set up, and I wasn't looking for your face. I was looking for your shorts.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, they stand out a little bit, just a teeny bit, just a teeny tiny bit. That's all. But it's all good. Hey, you can wear whatever you want when you're cooking Cajun, right?
Exactly. Well, thank you for bringing some Cajun flavor here today. And where can people find you and everything that you're doing, Jay?
I'm on WPTV and Fox 29. I'm on WPTV.com. Our bios are up there. I'm also on Facebook at Jay Cashmere. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at Jay Cashmere. My handle's pretty easy to remember, so just my name. Come out there, follow me. I'd love to follow you back. I'd love to meet you. And everybody in South Florida is so unique because out of 18 years being here, it's people like Virginia, people like you that bring us all together, and we have so much fun together. And that's what I want. If I can meet new people every day, if you can bring people together, that's what it's all about.
I'll never forget your support of me and my podcasting career from literally day 3. So thank you so much, Jay.
Thank you.
For everything.
Much success. I know you've come such a long way. You've done amazing things. You're going to continue to do amazing things.
Thank
so I love you.
Jay.
Awesome.
Love
Thank
you.
You got it. Thank you.
Well, I loved chatting with Jay again. And seriously, I'm not even joking. His shorts were nothing short of amazing. They were like the brightest things, super colorful. I almost wanted, sounds weird to say you wanted to take a man's shorts home, but I wanted to take them home and just put them up on a wall. They were that awesome.
I was wondering where you were going with any of that.
Well, anyways, that's the awkward transition here. After celebrating the music and the food, I caught up with some friends of mine. Like you mentioned, I knew a ton of people there. So some of my friends were out there and they were definitely enjoying themselves with the crawfish and mostly with the libations. But first up, we'll hear from my friends Lynn, James, Cindy, and Joe. And then we'll catch up with my friend Jason, the director of every film I've been in, including So Much Blood with Anne. And actually, he's Anne's nephew. And they were all just fresh off of a party bus, and they dumped them all into the festival. And, well, you can kind of tell that they had been on a party bus for the last several hours. So we are diving in deep here at the Cajun Crawfish Music Festival, having a great time. And the beer bus, also known as the 420 bus, just arrived and spilled out like... And those are my friends. All of my friends. So I thought we would stop for a moment and chat about what it's like to go to festivals in Florida. So we'll start with Lynn. So Lynn, you actually work for a really amazing hotel locally. So let's first name drop the hotel.
Old Palm Beach Resort and Spa.
It's fabulous. There's a great spa there. I mean, it's ridiculous. So tell us about festivals and your life in festivals. Do you like coming out here and enjoying yourself, bringing kids sometimes? I know right now that you're kid-free, but sometimes you bring out the kids.
Yes, absolutely. What's so nice is that Florida has the perfect weather for it. You know, you grab your friends, you can do all the research online. Thank goodness for Facebook and Twitter. You can find out where everyone is instantly. It's just wonderful. I love it. Florida's great for festivals. Absolutely.
So Joe, my friend Joe, is also here, and Joe was just telling me, if y'all rewind back to our Tallahassee trip, we took a great visit. I want to say it was like our 8th trip or something like that, but we stopped at this awesome place called the Crumb Box and talked to this awesome guy named P, and then I get a message from my friend Joe, who's like, I'm like besties with Pete and stuff. And I'm like, what? And so not only did I find out you were like besties, but you guys used to cook together back in the day, and we're celebrating food. Tell me about your cooking chops here, Joe.
So, I mean, if we want to go back early 90s when Pete and I were throwing bread together for girls before a beach date, I mean, we can dance down that aisle.
We can dance down that aisle.
You got that voice like it's all sexy.
Oh, yeah, you
I've got
did.
no voice at all.
I just want to tell you, we used to
As I look dreamily into your eyes.
Excuse me, I apologize.
So you had a ride on the beer bus. How crazy was that bus?
Oh, it's phenomenal. The drinks are passing around like high fives. And the high fives are passing around like drinks.
All right, so what is one of your favorite festivals that you can get out to? What do you like to look for at a festival? What do you enjoy?
Well, I work in the city of Delray Beach, so that's like the capital of festivals.
It really is!
Beach County. So it's like every weekend there's a festival of some sort, and we just had the Delray Fair. We got a Beatles festival coming up next
Oh, wow.
weekend. And there's just one thing after another. There's Craft Beer Festival in May. So, I love them all.
You love them all. And Cindy, wife of James, so let me ask you, which ones of these festivals do you like being dragged to, and which ones do you not like being dragged to?
Actually, I am the festival queen.
Oh, tell us more.
I go to everything.
Oh!
I love it.
What's your favorite?
Actually, my favorite is going to Polo.
Oh!
I love Polo. It's not a festival. It's like every weekend. You gotta go.
They call that Saturday?
Hey, it's the Polo Palm Beach on a regular basis.
Mine is like
Sunday.
a festival for what's coming up. Let's figure it out. And South Florida has the most amazing festivals.
They do. We do.
So you gotta go. I'm living in South Florida.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta do it.
Absolutely.
I'm actually an Ohio person. Came here, and after we were here for like a year,
Never left?
never went home.
How long have you lived
Well, happy early 10-year anniversary. So excited to have you guys here and everybody who's here right now. The crowd is thick, and we are all also thick in our drinks. So I'm about to join everybody else and get a little drink on myself. So thank you to everybody for stopping for a minute and chatting with me, my good friends, right off the bus. Woo-hoo! So I have found one of my favorite people in the world, let alone Florida.
Stop it.
This is true. This is Jason of the KVJ Show, and I've been a fan of yours since forever, and we've been buddies for the last couple of years, and you are just such a pillar of the community here, and I want to talk about what it's like to come out to a festival and be among your fans and your listeners and just be now in the midst of everybody who listens to you on the air.
Well, just so everybody knows listening, Jaime over here is quite the actress. No, you are very good. You're a good actress. You've been in every KVJ movie. You'll be in the next one.
I love
now,
it.
Live right now, do I get verbal commitment? Will you be in the next one?
Only if I also get verbal commitment that I will once again get murdered.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers.
No spoilers.
Yeah.
I will love being in the next KVJ movie. Actually, if anybody who's listening goes to JaimeLaganier.com, I actually have on one of the pages there all the movies there listed for people to see.
That's awesome.
I'm
Good.
so proud of it.
Good.
But now, in case
you're in every one of them.
I love him. So now you'll know his voice is a little bit rougher than usual for a variety of reasons. But one perhaps is that you just came off a very special bus because today is a very special day. What is the bus you just came off of, Jason?
Well, it's the beer bus, but we are celebrating 420.
So what's it really?
I'll just keep it.
I'm not saying I'm not making a commentary on any activities that happened on the bus. I'm simply saying it can be called.
I'm going to do a shot. What are your fans called? Do you have a nickname?
Insiders.
The Jaime Knights or the
the Jaime Knights. I love it. They are now.
Okay, this is to the Jaime Knights. Shot.
Bigfoot is real. Yeah. So I'm about to take a shot, too, because I just had some great crawfish from J. Cashmere, thank you very much, and Virginia, and I'm going to go...
Name dropper.
I know, totally. I'm going to go drop some crawfish in my mouth.
Drop it. I hate crawfish. I think it's gross. I think sucking on brains is really terrible.
No, but it's so yummy.
I get it.
Do you like the other things in there, like the other things that go in the boil?
I like potatoes.
Okay, all right.
Without the broth.
Well, we are not all perfect, Jason.
I like broth, but I don't like brain broth.
You don't like brain broth?
I don't know.
Well, as I told you off air, that this episode is going to be dedicated to a very special woman in your life, and she left quite an impression from the moment I met her. So
yeah, I remember Aunt Ann seen with you, and Aunt Ann had such a great time with you.
I was
when you left, she had nothing but such sweet things, and I thought you had such a great energy.
So not many people know this about me, but I have a lot of little old lady friends. Mostly from church.
You're the Golden Girls.
I love them.
You're like the Golden Girls.
Yes, and so I just want to say...
Is that too old of a reference?
No.
Okay.
I almost said show me that smile again, but that's growing pains.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's growing pains.
Best friend.
Yeah,
what is
hold
it?
on, it's thank you for being a friend.
Travel down the road and back again.
Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant.
Dedicated to Ann.
Okay. So if you're 30 and younger, Google that.
Google it. Thank you, Jason.
Oh, you're so welcome, Jaime. You're so great, and keep doing what you're doing for the community. And
thank you.
We need more people like you to keep doing local stuff. So
all
that's
about
awesome.
local voices.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Well, the organizers behind the event, the man Jerry Soma. Now, Jerry was trapped, God bless him, in the office trying to deal with this fire, this thing, that thing. But one of the fellow organizers, someone who works on his team, Jenny, she took a few moments to chat with me about putting this festival together. Well, I have found one of the major people behind this magic here today. I'm with Jennifer, who is the PR specialist and representative for the festival, and she has done an amazing job getting a crowd here. So what is it like to put something of this magnitude together?
I think at first you have to have the right idea, and no one is really doing anything New Orleans style or Cajun style, and having Virginia from the KVJ Show from New Orleans really gave the inspiration to the whole event. And then she, of course, contacted Via Productions, and really it was a dream from 3 years ago that she came up with, and now is reality.
So you work with Jerry Soma,
yes.
And so you guys put a lot of events and festivals together,
Correct.
Not just this one. So
Correct.
Why do you think festivals work so well in Florida?
I think the first thing is the weather. We have great weather. We have a lot of snowbirds. We have a lot of local people here. People want things to do. They want to be outside. They want to enjoy what Florida has to offer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you combine that with some great entertainment, some great food, and some great beverage and family-friendly opportunities, and everybody comes out.
Absolutely. So what are some of those other festivals that you guys tend to throw year-round? I believe Feast of Little Italy is yours, right?
We have that in November in Abacoa, and it's a 3-day Italian festival where everyone's Italian, and there's more food than you can imagine.
As Italians are known to do.
Exactly. And we do another Italian festival of similar size in Port St. Lucie for that market on the Treasure Coast. And then one in Fort Lauderdale that we team up with the BB&T Center in March.
Wow.
And, we kick off the season typically in October, helping Big Brothers Big Sisters with the Taste of Martin County events.
Oh, interesting. So you help Big Brothers Big Sisters with that. I know Little Smiles is a beneficiary here today.
Correct.
And so that's one of the great things about events in general and festivals is you can get the local community here to support a cause.
That's
and get to
right.
know a cause, and then, volunteer to either donate money or funds or anything else, or their time and stuff like that.
And a lot of the sponsors want to donate for a good cause. They need the visibility and the marketing, but they also want to be charitable to things going on in their community so that things stay and last for a long time.
Absolutely. So if someone's caught the festival bug listening to this show, where can they find your festivals listed?
Sure. We have a website via productionsinc.com. We also are on Facebook. All our events are on Facebook. We just finished the Food and Wine Festival, which is Fork and Cork at Legacy Place last weekend.
I heard that was a great success.
It was a wonderful event. That also was to benefit Little Smiles. So we're really big with charitable work. We're really big about partnering up with businesses in the community. We're just looking to create experiences for people to come, have an enjoying time. Like today, we have probably 1,000 people in front of us.
Yes.
And this wasn't here a year ago, and so to see it all come together and have a great crowd, it's really been a great day.
I mean, you can do things online where people meet up and do, different online whatever, and online rooms and stuff. But there's nothing like coming out in your community and being amongst your people and hanging out and experiencing something together.
Walk around and ask people where they're from. They're from beyond
all over
Palm Beach County. They're representation of different age demographics and culture, and that's really what it's about.
Absolutely. And you know what? They say America is a melting pot. Florida is a melting pot. Yes. And New Orleans is too. And when you bring a New Orleans festival like this to Florida, you have it in Florida, I mean, you get everybody. So I'm so happy looking around.
To our sponsors, Off Lease Only, especially Downtown The Gardens for allowing us to be here. I mean, this has really been, like I said, a dream come true.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for talking to me, Jen. So it takes a lot to put a festival together, but it can be for such a good cause. And this festival was a great event benefiting my favorite charity, Little Smiles. You've heard me talk about it once or twice or 15,000 times, Glenn. I love Little Smiles. But let's hear directly from one of the organization's members, Kara, all about what Little Smiles really is. Well, I am finding Florida, and I have found one of my favorite charities, Little Smiles, and Kara Kelly, who is the development coordinator with Little Smiles, and she's been that for grand total of 2 weeks. But she is a pro in the making, and I'm so excited that she is here representing Little Smiles with her team here at the Cajun Crawfish and Music Festival. I've been trying not to screw that up all day.
You did very well.
Thank you very, very much. So I'm a longtime fan of Little Smiles, but tell our audience what Little Smiles is and why they're such an important part of the local community.
Perfect. So we are a charity for children. What we do is we give the kids a chance to be kids during difficult times. Now, what does that mean? That's very broad. Well,
right.
It is very broad.
Yeah.
So we partner with pediatric offices in the community, and we allow kids to be kids again during the traumatic time. So whether they're going to be in the hospital or whether they have just had a very bad time in the foster care system, we bring the joy of being a kid to them again.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah, and you do it not only for the little kid that's directly affected, you really go out of your way to support the whole family because, I mean, really, when one person in a family is sick, especially when it's a kid, the whole family is sick.
It's very true.
Or going through something. The fire burns the house down, whatever. I mean, I've seen you guys step in.
It's very true. The last thing that parents should worry about is if their kids are being kids again.
Right.
So while the parents are out there being worried about, the financial situation of medical bills.
Right, finding the right doctors, getting the medical records together, and da-da-da-da. I mean, the millions of other things you have to do,
Exactly.
Or dealing with insurance or whatever.
That's exactly what it is. So we do partner with a lot of pediatric offices, and then we also get relationships with nurses too. So the nurses are the ones who are essentially taking care of the kids all day long. So we get requests from the nurses
that's wonderful
for
that
wish fulfillment. If there's something that the child wants, say if they want to have a movie night with their friends and they can't because they're doing something with medical reasons, and if they want to go see a movie and they can't, so what we do is we bring the movies to them. So we'll bring a pizza party, we will do activities for their children, so we really take their minds off of what they're going through.
Right, and sometimes it is like an activity stuff that you would normally associate it with just fun, but then there's also sometimes that you guys provide things that they really truly need that's also still fun, like an iPad for a kid who it's needed for their physical therapy or what have
and
you.
It could be very basic items as well. So if we have a child that was born in and is in the NICU and they need smaller clothing, so Little Smiles will step in and drop off some NICU clothing for the.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. That's amazing.
Me too. It's very amazing. We also we really do a lot of the fun stuff for their children.
Yeah.
And then the fun stuff actually does the domino effect on the parents as well. So the parents will have very feel good that their kids are doing something nice while they're out worrying about the other stuff.
Absolutely. And you guys do toy drives and stuff at the holidays. And I mean, I'll throw in a couple of things that I've done, not to pat myself on the back, just giving people a really broader scope of the opportunities you can give as a volunteer, because it's not just donating toys or money. You can volunteer. I mean, so if my listeners will know that I did a terrible job playing violin back on 11B because Glenn forced me to, and it's because I gave up my violin years ago to a kid in Little Smiles. She needed her violin. I said, well, I'm not using it, and Lord knows it likes that I'm not using it. So let me give it away. And then, so you can donate all kinds of items. And then another time I got to go with a friend, Lynn, and we went to one of those big box stores and just threw all kinds of snacks and candy in a cart.
Exactly.
And
that's the type of stuff we do.
Yeah, and then we visited the hospital. We got to give it away. It was so much fun.
It is very nice. We are a volunteer organized charity, so we really rely on our volunteers to come in and step in, whether it's 2-3 hours a day at the office, or if they want to come to a really fun event like this and they can hang out with us for the day. That really helps us out because, again, we are a volunteer-based organization.
And it can be great for team building. A lot of corporations now have a volunteer hours that you can blog in, and so this is one of those things that you can pay attention and find activities or just reach out. How can people reach out and find you guys?
So if they want to reach out, they can visit us on our website. It's www.littlesmiles.org, and so there's a tab there. If they want to volunteer, they can fill out a volunteer application form. Now we do have to do a background check on our volunteers because we're working directly with children, so we need to make sure we have the appropriate people.
That's good to know, though.
Yeah, exactly. And so we have all types of events that are 21 and up, and then also the youngest that we've ever had was a 12-year-old volunteer.
Oh my gosh. What is the youngest you would accept? Because my kid's 7, so how long does he have to wait?
The youngest we've had is 12, but I'm sure your 7-year-old could come and play play with the other children.
Okay, well, I'll work them in somehow.
Right,
well,
exactly.
Kara with 2 R's and an H at the end. Thank you so much for chatting with me.
Thank you for being
and
here.
I'll get out of your way so you can continue doing all the wonderful things that you're doing with Little Smiles.
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
And here's Jemmy's highlight.
All right, guys, it is Jaime. I am enjoying myself at this Cajun and Crawfish Music Festival like you would not believe. So I am enjoying the music and the fun and the people, running into random friends of mine, because that is what being out in your community is all about. So we are rocking the stages, we are rocking the crawfish boils, we're rocking the beer stands, all here at the Cajun Crawfish and Music Festival. Itself, Virginia of the KVJ Show. Well, she was the MC, so needless to say, she was kind of busy the entire time, running around on the stage, off the stage, cooking demos here, there. So she was all over the place. But we connected a couple days later to talk about this brainchild of hers of creating this Cajun festival in Florida. And really just what it takes to put on a successful festival in Florida, period. So she gave us some really good insights. So here's my chat with Virginia. Well, I have with me the NOLA behind, the Cajun behind the Cajun Crawfish and Music Festival. The Cajun herself, Virginia Sinicki of the KVJ Show. Hello, Virginia.
Hey, Jaime, how's it going?
It's going fantastic, and I have finally recovered. What a time that festival was. Oh, my gosh. So, it made me think Florida is such a melting pot, and people come here from all over. So you're from Louisiana. How long have you been in Florida?
So I've been in Florida 20 years. But I was, born and raised in Louisiana, went to college at LSU, and then I started doing radio. So I kind of bopped around a lot before I landed in Florida.
Well, I'm glad you did, because you have one of the best shows around, the KVJ Show. I'm a huge fan.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah, of course. And so, because Florida is such a melting pot and because of our amazing weather, I mean, we have festivals all year round. And what's awesome about it is you have people from all over like yourself who can create a festival that has really nothing to do with Florida.
Right.
Right. It literally is celebrating someplace else, whether it's Japan, like the Hatsume Festival, or New Orleans, like your festival. I mean, but people come out in droves because we really have such a diverse culture. So when it comes to celebrating something outside of Florida, I mean, people just come out in droves. It really is just about making a good festival, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you can do a few things right, I think you can win every time. I think it's a formula of, music, food, and making it fun and family friendly. If you can put all those things together and the weather is good, I think you'll knock it out of the park.
And the weather really was good. It was awful the night before, and I was nervous for you.
I know. Well,
the clouds cleared.
We had been watching the weather all week and freaking out. And then right around Wednesday, I mean, everybody in every single camp of meteorology was saying that Saturday was going to be gorgeous, that Sunday was going to be crappy. I'm sorry, Friday was going to be crappy, but that Saturday was going to be beautiful. And like everybody was saying it. So I was like, okay, we're good.
We're good. And not only was it not raining, but it actually wasn't too hot either. I
know.
Gosh, what a relief that was.
Here in South Florida, it gets a lot of muggy. It gets a lot of muggy, just like in Louisiana. Actually, it's a lot of similar climate stuff.
You're right.
But rarely do we have such a beautiful day where the sky is clear and the humidity is low and it's just sunny and breezy. We got kissed by the gods on Saturday.
We sure did. And you're right. So there's certain keys to festivals, like the music, the entertainment, and all the food involved, the drinks and all of that. But another big key to putting on a solid festival is the team you have working with you, both like all the vendors and the community volunteers, people who just put in the time. I mean, what's it like to just pull from the community and then see the community actually come together on the day of?
It's pretty special. I think the community actually came out so big that some of my vendors were not ready for it.
That's how we do it.
Oh my gosh. I in hindsight, you know what? We needed 3 more vendors, but I had one vendor that was really going to do everything. And the response was so massive. I wish I could go back and hire 2 more vendors because we have them. Believe it or not, there are quite a few places in South Florida that specialize in Cajun food. And a lot of those places are mobile as well. So we could have had multiple vendors.
Well, you know what? All that means is, for next year and make it
exactly
bigger. And so I was in Crystal River. I think I sent you a picture after that trip of the local find I had there of an awesome Cajun restaurant. So to hear that there are more of them available closer by to me is very exciting. I gotta check some of them out. But one thing I do want is I want to give you major props because on the last episode 18B, where we did cover the other 2 festivals, Glenn and I had to take a moment. We were at the Hatsume Festival and we had to take a moment to gripe a bit about. So yes, you had only had the one food vendor for the crawfish. And the line was pretty long. However, thank you that you didn't make us stand into 2 lines because what we can't stand is when you go to a festival and there's one line to get tickets and then you have to go and get your food or your drink or whatever.
Right.
That is the most annoying setup in all the land. So thank you for not choosing that option. Why do you think some festivals have to be set up that way where they have the tickets first and it's just annoying?
Well, so that is set up that way so that you have complete control over the money. When you make people buy tickets from one central location and then use those tickets everywhere, that is complete control with the organizer or whoever's running the ticket. We gave control to our vendors to be able to do what they wanted at their booth and charge what they wanted. And we really don't want to get that involved in telling the cooks how to cook. You know?
I appreciate that. And I, as an attendee, especially because it does make the experience better for us that you can walk right up to a vendor and use cash or credit and not have to worry about this being your second line. And do I have enough tickets when I get up there? And now I'm leaving with extra tickets that I've wasted money on. So that makes a big difference.
Every year when I go to a festival that has me buying tickets, I always have tickets left over. And I think that it's just kind of, not really fair to the festival goer. We put ATM machines out there. We were taking debit cards, credit cards, cash. I think the only thing that we messed up with was we didn't have enough points of purchase for our vendor. She should have had like 3 registers going instead of 1.
Yeah. But like I said, lesson learned for next year. And,
exactly.
And major kudos on the cooking demo you did with Jay Cashmere, because that was no line. That was just a half hour of great entertainment. And then I got fed. It was great.
Oh, good. Yeah, I love doing those cooking demos. We're so lucky that we have so many great chefs and great talent here in South Florida. It's neat to be able to see them in their environment cooking and putting on a show.
Yeah.
Because some of them are really good and some of them are not as good. I love the ones that are good at putting on a show and explaining how it's done and breaking it down. Jay is just, he's the
fantastic.
best.
He's fantastic.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
And of course, this festival was in large part to benefit a charity that, of course, you hold very dear to your heart. It's my favorite charity as well. Tell us a little bit about Little Smiles.
So Little Smiles is local. We service every children's oncology and pediatric unit from Miami to Orlando. Wow. So if there's a hospital that takes care of kids, even some emergency rooms we service, and then the hospital doesn't normally see kids, but of course they have kids come in the emergency room. We want to give them things, and we want to work with the nurses to help make that scary experience of being in the hospital a little less scary. Yeah. And, every kid is different. You've got a kid, I've got kids. They're so different. But the nurses get to know them best, and the nurses get to know their needs the best. And so we work with the nurses and the child life specialists and the counselors, and we find out what those kids need on their hospital stay to feel like kids again. And we try to give it, whether it's an iPad, whether it's toys, games. Sometimes, they want a trip to Disney when they finish chemo. Really special, individualized stuff that is specific to that child and their family.
Wonderful. And Kara did an awesome job delivering the message of Little Smiles when I spoke to her. She's a solid team member. I'm so glad to see you guys have her. And one last note for our listeners out there, I really stress what community is, when I'd love to keep it local. And one of the things that I've appreciated about you guys and how you do your talk show is the way that you involve your families in that community. And so I let Jason know already, but this episode is being dedicated to Aunt Anne in her memory. It was wonderful working with her in the last movie. And what is it like to have someone that you can bring? I know she wasn't your direct family, but still part of your inner circle. And now she's known amongst the community through, your efforts and your involvement of bringing her onto the show.
She was such an awesome lady. She was just a rock star. I am so sorry that the world didn't get to know her earlier.
Yes.
We only found her, when she was in her 60s. I wish we would have got her years ago.
I know.
Jim. And when you talk to people, we've been talking to people all week out and about at the Crawfish Festival. A lot of people came up and said that tribute that was done for Aunt Anne on the radio was so beautiful. And it really was. And we actually could have done like 3 or 4 days of a tribute to her. She was so funny. She brought so much just natural, genuine hilarity. She didn't even realize how funny she was.
She didn't.
That kind of a person that was just a true gift. She is definitely going to be missed on our show for sure.
100%. Well, if people want to look forward to becoming part of your community and getting involved in your events and, supporting Little Smiles and everything that you guys are doing with KVJ Show, where is the best place for them to find all of that stuff?
So we would love to have more help with Little Smiles, with the KVJ Volunteer Army. We do a lot of charitable stuff all year long, and we're always looking to recruit. So for KVJ stuff, you can go to kvjshow.com. And if you'd like to sign up to be a volunteer or a sponsor or come to any of our Little Smiles events, you don't have to give money. You can give time. You can give both. We just want to get people involved. The best place to go is littlesmiles.org. And all of our volunteer hours are all tracked there on the website, too. So we have a special reward system for our volunteers. And then we have a big awards banquet every year. So we try to keep our volunteers active and feeling the love both ways, not just giving it to us, but also giving it and getting it back from Little Smiles.
Well, you, Virginia, are a shining example of how local voices can impact their local communities. So thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. And thank you so much for featuring us and helping spread the word about Little Smiles. We wish you and your partners over there nothing but success with your podcast too, love.
Thank you.
So could we all just wrap it up and go home?
Well, Glenn, I don't know about you, but the weather was one of the most beautiful days I've ever seen in my entire life. And thank the Lord, because if it had been just 5 degrees hotter, I think I would have died. I would have drenched in sweat and died. And no one wanted to see that. But the weather was absolutely gorgeous. Did you have, I know we had really good weather at the Hatsume. Did you have good weather for the Sun and Fun?
Yes, it was beautiful.
Beautiful. But I bet you had a lot less shade than I did. There
was no shade. There's no shade. They don't tend to put a lot of trees at runways of airports.
Probably not a good idea.
Yeah, no.
Well, there was a lot of shade going on. And this festival's situated right next to, like, in this little waterfront area. So there was a breeze. Oh, it was so lovely. And as you could hear, so much fun. But one of the details that we didn't mention, funny enough, it didn't come up in any of the interviews. Glenn, guess who one of the main sponsor of the event was?
Don't know.
It's this place called Monroe's. Yeah, it's an adult club.
So a strip club sponsored an event that was to benefit Little Smiles?
Oh, yes, they did. And some of the girls were there.
I missed it?
Tiny little, yes,
I
you
could
did.
have had an interview with a stripper. That would have been a first on this show.
Tiny little outfits. They went up between bands. They would go up on stage and toss beads out to the crowd.
I could have gotten great interviews there. Man, I
You would
missed
have
it.
had a time.
I guarantee on our next adventure, which is coming up in Fort Myers, we're not going to find any strippers to interview. I guarantee you that.
Now we just have to make that a challenge. I'm going to dedicate myself to the cause. I'm going to find Glenn a stripper.
My wife will be happy to hear that.
But speaking of that next adventure, tell
Only
them about
in your
it.
neck of the woods would that happen right there.
What are we doing next month, Glenn?
Next month, we're heading off in an RV. The folks at Freedom RV, who we met under the Freedom Boat Club brand back on episode 16B, are actually trusting us with a brand spanking new RV.
Fools, I tell you, those fools.
Well, they're not letting you drive, so we're fine.
And we haven't promised yet to give it back.
We'll be taking their training course so we don't crash it, leaving from Venice on the West Coast, heading down through Punta Gorda, and ending up in Fort Myers. And we'll be meeting up with friends and fellow podcasters along the way and doing some fun stuff. Plus, this is a little different. This is a family outing where your son JoJo's coming along.
My son JoJo's coming along. I'm so excited. The last road trip and only road trip that he and I have ever taken was actually to come see you and Jen in Tampa when we were going up there for, what was that concert we went up there for? It was the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
An orchestra, yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
So we took a road trip to go meet you guys there. So this is the second time he and I have ever done something like this, and of course it involves you
it's
again.
a nice RV and it has bunk
Always
beds.
has to involve Glenn.
That's right. It's a nice RV. It has bunk beds, and I can tell you he's sleeping on the top one because I'm not getting up there.
Yeah, right. Like no one wants you falling out of that thing. I'm not taking another trip to the emergency room. I don't know about you, but
I get the big bed in the room in the back. I'm just reserving that now.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is reserved for the tallest player, and that's you. But so it's a family affair because my son's coming along, and we're on our Venice at our first stop. We're going to be meeting up with James and Izzy Jerome, and you guys have heard me talk about Izzy. She's my mentee, and I adore her. So we're excited to meet her. Jordan is excited to meet her. He's a big fan of her show. Oh my gosh. And then
he's a little young for her.
He's a little young for her, but he has to have goals. And then the last day when we were at Fort Myers Beach, we're going to be meeting up with the hosts of our sister show, Ed and Kim Ryan. We're going to be appearing on their show, Beach Talk Radio. So it's just going to be so much fun. A huge, fun, good weekend, great road trip. I am so excited. I'm so excited. Glenn, are you excited?
I'm excited. Yes.
Well, anyways, you can find all the photos, videos, links for this adventure and all the adventures on findingfloridapodcast.com. And you can find all our episodes there too, as well as on any of the podcast aggregators that you use. And all of our network shows are at floridapodcastnetwork.com. So if you want to go check out Beach Talk Radio before we get there, you can.
So drive your RV out of the driveway, and here's to your next Florida adventure.